So first up, we are going to be talking about Bless, the blue and gold macaw. Sarah is going to be talking to us about them. And for a little bit of context, both of these are pre-recorded videos. Bless is actually staying at an off-site location that hosts a lot of our macaws. And Red Fred is actually currently at the vet and being aborted there. So hi, Sarah.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
Pretty good. So what can you tell us about Bless the blue and gold?
Bless is a beautiful blue and gold macaw. She's approximately 22 years old. And she came to us out of a slightly sad situation where she wasn't living in the best circumstances. So she's a lot better off now, but she came to us because she was in a home where, for whatever reason, the owners couldn't have the birds in their house. So they had moved them to an outdoor structure, which was really a lot more like a shed than a suitable enclosure for large birds. And unfortunately, it became fairly dilapidated. And there was another macaw out there as well. Bless was not alone, but unfortunately, an animal of some sort was able to get access to the enclosure, and the other bird was killed. And Bless was unfortunately witness to that. So she wasn't getting handled a lot. She wasn't getting a great diet. She went through a pretty terrifying experience. And eventually concerned neighbors reached out to animal control, who worked with the owner to have the bird given up and taken in. And Mickaboo was asked if we would help take care of Bless. And that's when she came to us.
I wish that stories like that were uncommon, but they're not terribly uncommon for us. We do see a lot of rescues where birds have been moved outside, and a lot of outdoor structures, unless you spend a lot of time and money getting an aviary ready, it's not going to be bird proof or bird safe. So do we know how old Bless is?
We understand she's in her early 20s. So our best guess is about 22 years old. Yeah.
Okay, so pretty young for a macaw, because a macaw can live, how long would you say?
Yeah, easily upwards of 60 or 70 years or more with good care and good diet. Especially diet is one of the critical factors.
She's a very young girl.
She is. She's got plenty of time ahead of her.
So I know she didn't get much handling while she was out in the shed. Is she hand tame at all?
She is not. She is not. You can see in these video clips, which I took of her a little while ago, there's a few moments where she kind of lunges out a little bit as I get closer. You can see kind of here, she's leaning forward with her beak, and it's kind of body language saying, that's close enough, thank you. And she's fine as long as you don't approach her and get too close. She loves just chilling out.
Respect her space.
Exactly. She's a big fan of social distancing. So she doesn't mind people being around, but you really want to just keep yourself an arm's length away so that she doesn't feel that you're too close. And if you get too close, she does what she's doing now, where she's like, oh, I've had enough of this. And she goes back in her cage to go and, pull on a toy and just get herself some space from you. So yeah, she's not able to step up on people. She would need a long journey with consistency and an owner who spent time with her, being slow and gentle and just ambiently being around her. For example, if she was living with you and you just opened her cage every morning to give her out time, and then you just sat in a chair right next to her cage reading a book or a magazine, or just minding your own business, not even looking at her, and then just occasionally maybe leave a treat close to her somewhere, and just do that consistently, get that routine going over months and maybe even years, she might warm up to you. I mean, she still has so many decades ahead of her. She's had some rough experiences early on in life, but once a bird knows you, when you're not a stranger, and they have some idea of what you're going to do, and you act in a non-threatening way, they can learn to trust again. It's not a quick process. It takes a very long time.
Does Bless have any health issues actually from the time in the shed? Because she looks very beautifully fully feathered.
Surprisingly, very few health issues. You can see that she's doing a sort of little nervous step from left to right there, but she's quite mobile. We haven't seen her fly. I'm not aware of a reason why she couldn't fly, but she doesn't seem to. She may just have not flown in so long that the feeling would be kind of strange and scary to her. So she prefers to just climb around and walk around. Her favorite thing to do is just sit on her door. So she's not getting a ton of exercise, and more opportunities to enjoy a play stand in a safe space would be good for her. but she's not on any medications, and just continuing to encourage her to eat healthily and enjoy good, enriching experiences. She's remarkably in good health given her early care. She hasn't plucked out any feathers, which is nothing short of a miracle given the stress that she went through. So yeah, she's in surprisingly good health under the circumstances.
You mentioned making sure that she kept eating healthy. What kind of diet is she on?
She's on a mix right now of pellets and some seed, and some seed is fine for birds. You just have to remember that you should think of it more like a treat. You don't want to feed it as the majority of what they get. Yeah, it's the French fries in your diet. So a little bit is fine. But you don't want to make it most of what they're eating.
An all French fry diet maybe isn't the healthiest choice.
Indeed. Yeah. And no actual French fries would be advisable too. But yeah, she's not bad. She'll nibble, she'll beak at some veggies. But there's still plenty of opportunity to keep working with her on that too.
She's a bit of a picky eater, and she would hardly be the only one. I feel like most birds we see are not a big fan of vegetables. They're like kids.
I mean, it's a never-ending journey with birds and expanding their dietary horizons. There's always a vegetable they haven't tried, and there's always new shapes and sizes. And she gets offered chop right now in a bowl. And you could experiment with putting larger chunks on skewers. That's often popular with bigger birds, or even just clipping, large chunks to the side of the cage in a clip. But skewers can work really well. Or just model, if you're eating something, the bird usually shows a lot of interest in what you have. So you could chew on a carrot and then maybe offer them the other end when they start to look interested.
So I'm seeing another bird in the background. Do we know how Bless is around other birds? Is she interested?
She's fairly indifferent. We've had birds of all kinds who react differently to having other birds ambiently around them. I think, obviously birds are flock animals by nature, so she needs some company, but she's not showing a tendency to go off and try and actually integrate with, become a companion with any other bird. So she doesn't mind having them around. They don't bother her. She's also not super excited about them. I think what would be ideal for her is a home where you don't necessarily need to have other birds, but you are available yourself for large chunks of the day, either ambiently, but also to give her some direct attention on some routine that she can anticipate and enjoy.
Yeah, I know we've said she a lot. Do we know for sure if Bless is a girl, or is that we were told previously?
I believe we don't have that on authority. It's what we're going with, but I don't think we've done a DNA test to confirm it. So
yeah, unfortunately we do see that a lot, because a lot of birds you just cannot tell without a DNA test. So if the previous owner says, yeah, they're a female, we kind of have to take it at their word and that they have had a DNA test done. But they haven't always. Sometimes it's just, I feel this bird is this one.
Yeah, I mean, they came in through Santa Cruz shelter who didn't have a ton of paperwork about the bird. So it's kind of all just hearsay. And until she was to do something dramatic like lay an egg, which we're hoping won't happen anytime soon, then there's no way to know. And we don't tend to pay for DNA testing unless there's a medical reason, because it's just that's money that could go towards healthcare for another bird. So we do our best to be conscientious about that.
And does she have a favorite toy? I'm kind of seeing a couple on and around her cage.
Yeah, she's a bit of a jangler. So I would recommend that whatever you do, you make sure she's got a couple of metal toys which are on chains. You can see in this video a couple of times she jangles a couple of toys which are hanging off of perches at the top of her cage. But she does also need some big wooden blocks. You can see the front of her cage. She's got a wooden toy that's got some green and red and pink blocks hanging down, and pretty much all of them are missing a chunk in some place. So she needs some big wood to chew on, but she enjoys other types of toys of different sizes and textures as well. So I would make sure that she had a bell or a metal toy she could jangle, maybe something more chewy, maybe like a larger leather toy, and then the wooden blocks so that she's got something to turn into firewood chips.
A big jangler. So Bless is only the first macaw that we are seeing. You have another macaw to show us, don't you?
I do. Do you want to move on to our next?
Sure.